Yo, what's up, and welcome back to Tryhard Nation. As always, I'm your host, the omegatryhard, and today we are just going to do some discussion on the new arena structure. So let's just buckle up and get into it. So before I go into my personal opinions and my personal feedback and stuff like that, I did just want to do a really quick shout out to Kabam themselves, just because as a developer, I would assume at least that it is a very hard thing to do to uproot a core mechanic and core function and core system in a game and try to update it and make it more relevant um, to the current game state after a couple years, decades, or whatever. The game evolves, the structure of just everything evolves, and it's hard to take that one outdated thing and keep it relevant. So this is something that's pretty risky, pretty difficult, and is honestly never going to please everybody across the board. So I just want to say kudos to them for trying and being open to the feedback and all of this kind of stuff. It's awesome. It's a good sign for the game, and yeah. Number two, this video is not meant to give you an opinion. I'm not trying to convince you that my way is the best way, or to like go press Kabam or anything like that. I'm simply trying to get the discussion started and get the discussion continued, and not only give my critiques of it, but also some alternatives that I think could be better, which hopefully you guys do as well. I suggest that everybody go to this link here. I will post it in the description of this video, but they are asking for feedback, so I also really wanted to make sure that everybody knows, hey, if you don't like this and you want this to change, or maybe you do like it and you want it to stay the same, go to this post and leave your feedback. Be polite, be respectful, be coherent, and be detailed. Those are my 4 tips for you guys if you want things to stay and you want things to change. Just go here, follow those steps, and give as much feedback as you can. And that's the only way that we can influence these decisions at all. If we don't speak up, they don't hear our voice. So it's important that we speak. So with all that said, all those disclaimers, what is my opinion? Again, before we get into that, what is the point of arena? Like, why do people play it? I think before we go into how things should change, it's important to lay out the foundation of what arena is. So there's 3 core reasons that people go into arena. There's kind of a 4th one, but I don't think that's a specific purpose that they go into it for. So people go into grind resources. This is probably the main function, because this is the biggest way to get units, which is the premium currency in this game, for completely free. You don't have to spend money. This is the key to being free to play. The other 2 ways are champion related. You can either dupe old characters or characters that you already have, or get new characters or recently released characters. Those are the 3 main reasons that people do arena. It's also a really good place to go to practice the game. This is what I did when I was learning how to play and learning different mechanics and stuff. I would go watch Dorky Diggity Dave's videos on how to intercept, about action points, all that kind of stuff. I would take all that knowledge that I had, or that I was trying to learn, and then go to arena and try and do it. Try to intercept, try to backdraft intercept. Arena is a risk-free way to practice champions and new mechanics and new strategies. If you lose, you lose. It's no big deal. You don't have to revive, no wasted energy, nothing like that. Now, why was the arena system changed? So I don't know for sure the reason that it's changed. The only thing that I'm going off of is this right here. This was the dev diary that was released, I think, on like May 9th or something close to that. This is their personal statement in the dev diary on the changes and their views on why they changed it, which is they didn't really give that many views, but I'm just interpreting this information. If they said something else on the forums or on social media, whether that's Twitter, YouTube comments, anything like that, I don't pay attention to any of that from anybody really. So I'm just going based strictly on this. So if I'm assuming something that's incorrect because maybe they tweeted something else, that's my excuse for it. But yeah, this is my interpretation of why. So I think they wanted to just clean up the UI by reducing the amount of arenas. So currently the way that it works is that there's, when you click arenas or whatever the option actually says, there's 6 different options to click. There's quick match, there's the 3-star basic, 4-star basic, 5-star basic, 4-star basic. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. There's the 3-star featured, 4-star featured, 5-star featured, 4-star basic, the summoner trials, and quick match. Those are the 6 different options that you have to click there. This cleans up that UI a little bit because it gets rid of 2 of the arenas. So there's only the quick match, featured, basic, and summoner trials. So it got rid of 2 of them. They also wanted to increase the rewards by giving you more units, by making the 4 and 3-star champions as milestone rewards so that you can easily target them. There's no more risk for going for those, which is super pro player. I'm super happy about that, and that's probably my biggest pro for this entire revamp. I think that's awesome, and if nothing else, I want to make sure that that's the one thing that we keep from all of this. And the other way that they wanted to increase the rewards is by making less arenas. So the way that it worked before is you got roughly 535 units by doing all of the milestones in all 5 of those arenas. Now you're still getting 540 units, which is a 5 unit increase overall, but it's spread out over 3 arenas. So theoretically, each of those arenas should give you more units and more resources overall if you get the all the milestones. The other thing is that I think that they were trying to set a standard and kind of further separate the small accounts from big accounts. Now, what I mean by this is this line right here. Featured and basic hero arenas will be locked to uncollected and up and use 4 to 6-star champions. I think this is them trying to push to set a standard that their marketing, their deals, all that kind of stuff is going to be catered towards uncollected and up. That uncollected should be the new like bottom tier for all the players that they're trying to set that standard, which I'm personally okay with. I think uncollected is the part where the game gets difficult, and it's kind of a skill and roster check, and for you to start being competitive, I do think that that is the bar that you have to cross. So I'm perfectly fine with them trying to push that standard, but I think that's another thing that they're trying to do. Again, that's just my interpretation of all this. So what is the old arena system? So I don't know, I couldn't find any sources that had like all the milestone breakdowns, but these are the total like units and stuff like that that you would get from each of the arenas if you did all of the milestones. So like I said, there were 5 arenas. There was the summoner trials, the basic 4-star, featured 3, 4, and 5-star arenas, and if you did all of 5 arenas and you got all of the milestones for all 5 of them, you would walk away with 535 units, 6,500 roughly battle chips, 32 and a half premium hero crystal equivalents. So that's split up a little bit between full crystals and crystal shards, and then roughly 120,000 gold. So again, these rewards are kind of the gold standard, and the reason that they're the gold standard is because this is what it used to be. This is what we expect as a bare minimum of whatever revamp we get should match this, because this is what we used to get. Anything less is going to be them taking rewards away from us, and then anything above is them increasing those rewards. So this is kind of the gold standard. Now, if you've watched Brian Grant's 50 milestone challenge, which will also be in the description below, he did all of these milestones for all 5 arenas in a single sitting, just to see like how much it would take, how long it would take, what the fights and stuff like that would be like. So it took him, I think it was roughly 10 and a half hours. However, that wasn't him being like 100% efficient. So just for like a normal player, I guess that's what we can say those numbers are, 10 and a half hours to get all of the milestones. I'm going to reference that later in the video, going over some of my options, and like it's just going to be a reference point for how long I think something should take, how many points, all that kind of stuff, roster requirements. But yeah, this is the old system, and then this is the revamped system. So currently this is what we have in the game right now. So we went from 5 arenas to 3 arenas, those 3 arenas being the featured arena, the basic arena, and the summoner trials. Overall, the total resources that we got were increased. I believe the gold was doubled, maybe. There's 150, 180 compared to 120, so you're getting about 60,000 more gold. You get 5 more units, and I think the battle chips and premium hero crystals are roughly the same, if not like a couple thousand higher. Nothing noticeable, but I haven't done the exact math on that. So let's go over some of the big changes. Right now, there's a 6-star arena, which is massive. This is probably the biggest win for whale accounts, because now they don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on featured cavalier crystals at a chance at getting the 6-star featured champion. Now they have a way to do arena and specifically target that champion if they know life, use units to refresh, all that kind of stuff. So I assume this is going to be very, very, very competitive, but at least it'll be a way for people to specifically target specific champions, especially for free-to-play players like Brian Grant and anybody else who takes this game very seriously at a high level, but doesn't want to spend hundreds of dollars a week trying for specific champions or boosts and stuff like that. Super awesome. The ranked rewards also got a nice revamp. All these amounts are increased. I'm not sure exactly how much. Again, I couldn't find all of the stats and stuff like that for those previous arena, but I know for sure that they were increased. The other big one is now you can get the 3- and 4-star champions from milestones. So for the featured, you get it at 6.25 million and 9 million. And then the basic, you get it at 1.5 million and 2.25 million, which we will touch that in just a moment. But I love this change. The reason I love this change is because there's no luck required for getting the 4-star champion anymore. None at all. It's awesome. This is what it should have been like always, in my opinion, for at least the basic champions. Because there were plenty of times when you're going for the basic champion as a 4-star, the cutoff is like 1.7 million and you got 1.6 million. Had there been a specific milestone for you to achieve, you could have really targeted that champion specifically and made sure that you got it. For those people that need 4 stars and have smaller rosters, that is massive. the that little variance of not being able to get that champion because you missed it by a couple rounds or something like that, it would suck. And again, it can be super damaging to like the morale of smaller accounts and stuff like that, or it can be really empowering if you do get that champion. So this change is awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The other thing is so it used to be the 4-star basic has been completely redone. Now for each of the arenas, the basic and the featured, you can either get a 6-star or a 5-star of that champion, and then what would have been the 4-star basic is now a 4-star Nexus arena. So for this one, it's targeted at smaller accounts. I really like the layout of this one between like all of the different rewards and stuff like that. I think the amounts are fairly decent for the milestones, but the thing is there's just too many milestones, which I'll touch on in a little bit. But yeah, I think overall this revamp was pretty good. Not perfect, but pretty good for the smaller champions or the smaller summoners. But yeah, so let's just talk about the actual pros and cons now. So there are some good things about this new arena system, and I do think there's going to be a lot of people that like it, specifically big accounts, because now you can get 6 stars. Like I told you, that is a huge pro for those big accounts, the whale accounts. The cleaner arena system, it's just, again, it's less cluttered. There's less arenas, less for you to try and manage between champion rosters and stuff like that. So I know previously I would have to like bounce through each different arena to try and figure out, okay, I'm going to use all my 6 stars in this one, and while those are doing on cooldown, I'm going to use my 5 stars in this one, and then this one I can do my 4 stars until I do all the milestones here, and then I'll bring those into here. It was just a lot of brain power to try and make sure that you were efficiently doing all of the different arenas with all the different milestones. Now everything is a lot more streamlined, and again, the champions being in the milestones themselves make it a lot better. Even for endgame players, this is massive, because let's say, like right now, Shang-Chi's in the arena. Let's say I've never played him, they didn't give us the 3-star. I can get the 3 or 4-star from this arena day 1 if I have a really big account, and I can say, okay, I really like the way that this character feels, I'm gonna go ahead and grind him. And then from there you can test him a little bit and then decide you want to grind for the 5-star or grind for the 6-star, and then go from there. Or maybe you were planning on grinding for the 6-star, but you get the 4-star, you feel him and you feel, I don't really like his play style, his numbers aren't high, or he's too complicated, or this, and then you can decide, you know what, I'm gonna pass on this one. Because there have been times where I've done that, where I got way back in the day, I grinded for specific characters like Nightcrawler or something like that as a 4-star, and I tried them and I'm like, man, you know what, I really don't like the way that this character plays, and I really regret that I spent all this time and units and stuff like that refreshing to get this champion, and he's garbage. Nightcrawler's not garbage, it was just the first one that came to mind. But yeah, so the champion and milestones is pretty massive. Pros, that there's more units. I mean, I'm gonna put that in the pro column just because it's technically true, but you're only getting 5 more units. That's not anything noticeable, anything to brag about, but I mean, I guess it is technically true. But yeah, when you get everything factored in together, I think this is very pro whale. The whale accounts are going to be having a field day now, because things just got a lot better for them. They can target 6-star champions a lot easier. They can target the 5-star a lot easier. Even if they miss out on both of those, they're getting more rewards. They're getting the 3 and 4-star as well for free without having to do additional arenas. It's excuse me, it's just a lot better for them. Now, what are some of the cons? The milestones are just insane. I think that's one of the bigger things that is the issue right now, along with the time investment that it takes to get all of those milestones. So now we're going to get a little bit nerdy and do some quick math. So let's bring out the calculator. So on that post, that video that Brian Grant did, he said, I think he said roughly it's like 2 minutes per arena team, right? So every arena team, you're running 3 champions, and if it takes 2 minutes to run all 3 of those champions, that would mean in an hour you can run 30 teams max, right? Okay, so what would that look like trying to get all of these different arenas? So let's say we're going to be doing the featured arena and we want to do as many points as possible. So we're going to use 6 stars, right? So every 6 star gives you roughly 60,000 points. If you multiply that by 3, you're going to get 180,000 points per full arena team like wins. So on your arena team, you have 3 champions. All 3 champions you win because you're 6 stars, you get roughly 180,000. If you do that 30 times, so you do a full hour running 30 teams of 6 stars, which means you have to have at least 96 stars to do this. What would that look like? So we're going to go 180, that's 1 team, by 2 minutes. We're going to do 30 teams. We're going to get 5.4 million. So if you have 96 stars, that is a very big roster, a very, very, very big roster. You're only getting 5.4 million per run. 6 stars also have, I think it's like a 7 hour or 9 hour, something like that, cooldown. So realistically, you're only going to be able to run them twice a day. So if we do that twice a day, we're looking at 10.8 million. So even for big accounts, you're going to have to at least do a day and a half or 3 separate runs to be able to hit all 15 of these milestones in one of each of these arenas. Which means over the 3 days, you're going to have to do 3 runs in one and then 3 runs in the other. And that's basically all the time you have. Okay, well that's only if you're using 6 stars, right? Even though you're incentivized to use 6 stars because they give you the most points and these milestones are much higher, of course you can also use your 5 stars. So let's just rewind it a little bit. We're going to divide this back by 2. So in that hour, those 60 minutes, you ran 90 teams of 6 stars to get 5.4 million, right? So now we're going to run into our 5 stars. Let's say that you also have 95 stars. How many points does 5 stars give? I think typically they give somewhere between 25 and 45,000 points per champion. So what we're going to do is we're going to remember this 5.4 number. We're going to go 5.4 million, jump back to our calculator, and then we're going to use the upper end of that amount. Even though that's not realistic, let's use 45,000 per champion. So there's 3 champions on a team. And then we're going to do another 60-minute run. So we're going to do 90 champions, which is 30 runs, which would take an hour. So we're going to multiply this number by 30. So that's 4 million points. We're going to add in 5.4 million. So that means if you have 96 stars, 95 stars, which again is a very extensive roster for you to have, you're going to get 9.5 million for 2 hours of straight running arena at optimal speeds, winning every single fight. That means in a day, you can probably run each of those twice, and hit all of the arenas, or all of the milestones for one of the arenas. Next day, hit all of the milestones in the next arena. Again, this is for a very, 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 okay, maybe not very, 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 maybe just a single very sizable account that has 96 stars and 95 stars. 95 stars is manageable, but 96 stars is a very big account, in my opinion. What does the average person have? I think the average summoner probably has something around like 65 stars, 55 stars, and maybe like 10 to 20 6-stars. And I think that's on the upper end of the average roster. So let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna run the upper limits of those. So let's say, just for the sake of being even, they have 21 6-stars, which would mean that those are 7 teams. So we're gonna do that divided by 3. That means there's 7 full teams of a 7 times, Jesus Christ, I can't do this. 7 times 180,000. You're getting 1,000,000 points for running all of your 6-stars. Okay, it's cool. That's only 6 stars though, right? So we're going to go back. We're going to do our 5 stars now. Let's say, again, the upper limit, let's say you have 65 stars. So that means we're going to do 60 divided by the 3, because there's 3 per team. So we're going to have 20 teams going at, I think it was 135,000, assuming that we're getting 45,000 per 5-star, which isn't the average, it's just not, but I'm gonna go towards the upper limit just to experiment. You're getting 2.7 million. So you're getting roughly 4 million for a roster size of, what did I say? 65 stars and 26 stars, which again is a fairly respectable roster size. And you're only getting roughly 4 million. 8 million if you do that twice a day, which would mean if you're doing it twice a day, every day, you can only hit 1.5 of the milestones from either of these. If you're using 4 and 5 stars, or 5 and 6 stars. If you want to throw in your 4 stars, you can do that, but you're only going to get pretty minimal points, as well as encounter a lot more death matches. Death matches are one of the reasons that make this so problematic, because now in both of these arenas 6 stars are everywhere, so the champions that you can bring on your teams are a lot more strict. I've gotten plenty of death matches using full teams, so 3 champions of 5-star rank 2, and gotten death matches with those. In previous arenas, that never used to happen to me. I don't know if maybe something has changed, or I was just getting lucky before, I don't know. But using full teams of 5-star rank 2 champions, and I'm still getting death matches. 4 stars, especially at 440, I'm not sure that those will be allowed on the team at all. 5 stars you can probably get away with if you have a full team, but death matches make this a lot more difficult, because again, they're just harder fights. They're more time extensive, which is going to make the grind a lot more arduous if you have to get multiple of them per run, if they don't screw up your run, and it's a headache. So far we're looking at the investment, the milestones, and the death matches. All of that ties into insane roster limitations, because again, even if you have those 96-star champions, which isn't the average summoner, that's still pretty limiting for all of these arenas. It's just way too extensive, which just results in overall less rewards for not whale accounts, because they're not going to be able to participate and hit all of these milestones as they used to. So a free-to-play uncollected player is pretty much screwed, because there's no way that they're going to be able to hit all of these milestones. And this is all of their free-to-play resources that they used to get are now just gone, basically. There's no real chance for them to get it. And that sucks. As a free-to-play player, I assume you're hating your life right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if most free-to-play players quit. This is just gutting their system of resources, essentially. So that is the overall overview of the current system. I think it was a really good attempt, but it's clear that they missed the mark on a lot of different things and just kind of out of touch with what it is that we really needed at a non-whale level. So what do I think needs to change? You can't really critique something if you're not going to say what it could be or how to fix it, right? So I have 3 separate options. Option 1 is to keep this exact system, but just tweak it a little bit. Tweak the numbers and make things a little bit more easy. So if you look here, everything is still the same. We still have the 3 arenas. We still have the Summoner Trial, Basic Arena with the same ranked rewards, Featured Arena with the same ranked rewards. The only thing that's changed, really, is the milestones have been simplified and lowered. So from 16.5 million, these have dropped to 8 million. And then from here, the 2.25 million has been reduced to the original 1.5 million of the basic arena, and things have just been overall uniformed or simplified a little bit to be a little bit more uniform. As well as I added more units to the summoner trials, because why not? Just this is catered towards beginner accounts, and if you are going to make them try to push to that new standard of uncollected, you should give them the resources to be able to get there. So these units can be used for revives, for refills, all potions, all that kind of stuff. This is super important for the free-to-play players and smaller accounts. So why not just give them some extra there? This is not going to mess up the economy, in my opinion, of the game at all. 200 units is hardly noticeable for bigger accounts, especially if they're going to be doing these arenas anyways. It's just I don't know, I just increased them just because I felt that it was necessary. If you're gonna say more units, actually make it more units, actually make it noticeable, and give it to the people that really need it. Now for the other parts. So we changed the milestones, so we lowered them, so things are a lot more manageable. Because if we go back to the numbers that we did previously, for the big accounts that were hitting, what is it, like 9 million roughly, for that full 2-hour run, now they can do that full 2-hour run and hit all of the milestones for each of the arenas every time that they do that. So they're going to be happier. The middle tier accounts that are uncollected and cavalier will be a lot happier, because this is a lot more manageable for one. Maybe they won't be able to do both of them. However, I think the average player should be able to, if they grind relatively hard or relatively consistently, they should be able to hit both of these. But if not, they're definitely guaranteed that they can hit this if they're efficient with their time. As well as the smaller accounts, they're getting more resources, they have less milestones, so they're more incentivized to jump into the arena, as well as they're getting less milestones for the 4-star and 3-star. Now, the issue that I have with the basic hero being at 2 million and then in the current system 2.25 million is that this is more than what it used to be before. So before, in the old system, since the 5-star arena was added, basically every basic 4-star after that was, I don't remember the last time that I've seen one break 2 million points. as the 4-star basic. I just don't remember it. So the average summoner is going to be putting up more points for the same reward that they used to get. Now you can make an argument that now it's guaranteed, so they're paying a premium for having no risk, which I understand, but I'm just trying to tweak it just a little bit and rein it down just a little bit to make it a little bit more reminiscent of what it used to be. So with these minor tweaks of just changing some of the milestones, changing some of the rewards. What the other thing that I added was gold. So gold is needed across the battle realm. Everybody needs it. All summoners need it, except for, I guess, the whale accounts, because they're constantly opening crystals. But still, in most cases, everybody needs gold. So why not just give it to us? It's not going to. We still need to get the resources to do the rank ups and the level ups and stuff like that. But it would be nice if we had the increased amounts of gold. Maybe these numbers are a little bit too high. Maybe you can tweak this to maybe 100,000 or something like that. I don't know. I personally feel like we should be able to get more gold on a weekly basis and not constantly be behind, or get the resources if we're paying for like monthly cards and monthly deals and stuff like that, and have the gold to be able to utilize them. I don't think gold breaks the economy of the game, and the reason I keep mentioning that is because that's always one of their comebacks or retorts for not giving us more resources and stuff like that, even though they're fine with messing with the economy when they sell deals for money, which is an entirely different conversation. But yeah, so just tweaking some of these numbers with the rewards from here and the milestones required to get them. What did that change? So we still have the death matches, and it's still a little bit worse for smaller accounts because they're still losing out on all of these resources, because there's no way that they're going to be able to get these and couple them with this. So that's another reason that I up these, because I feel like we should be able to compensate them for the fact that they're just not going to be able to get most of these milestones. Maybe they'll be able to do 1.5 million in all 3 arenas or something like that, but still they're missing out on all of these resources if they can't. That means they're missing a lot of units, a lot of gold, a lot of Grandmaster crystal shards, which I didn't mention before, but now they replace the premium hero crystal shards with Grandmaster crystal shards from the basic and featured arena. Another big plus. But yeah, so it's a little bit worse for smaller accounts still, but this makes it a little bit less impactful because the resources that they would be losing here, we're adding in a little bit extra here to compensate for it. Now the pros are a lot more noticeable now, because now we still have the 6 stars available. We still have the champions and the milestones. It's still a much cleaner arena system because we only have 3 instead of 5 arenas. And now we actually are getting more units, because you're getting more here, which coupled between all 3, if you do all of them, you're getting 600 units, up from 535, which isn't that big of a jump. It's not that noticeable. It's like a revive and an energy refill, which is awesome. It'll help players a lot, and it doesn't really break the game or anything like that. So if you're going to advertise more units, more rewards, this is a noticeable amount to give them. It's still way better for bigger accounts, and even more so now because the milestones are a lot easier to hit. So theoretically, they'll just do this a lot quicker. It's better for rewards for mid accounts because now these are actually manageable. so they can hit all of these milestones while still getting all of their units and reaping the benefits of being able to get all of these better ranked rewards. The overall time investment and milestones required to get all of these rewards again have just drastically been reduced, so they're a lot more manageable. Still challenging to get for medium or medium low tier accounts, but it's a lot more manageable and a lot more realistic. However, I still don't think this is a perfect setup. I think this could still be changed a lot. I'm not 100% which way I would go, but I do have two separate options that I think would be a little bit more up on this, even though they are a little bit more complicated to implement in reality. But again, I'm not pushing perfect systems, just options. So option 2 is to get rid of the basic and featured arenas and make it a 6-star arena and a 5-star arena. Now the caveat here is that you would have to choose. You wouldn't be able to do both of these arenas. So similar to side quests where you are required to get like a key or something like that to enter the side quest. For this, I don't know if it would be some sort of like objective or something like that, but at the start of the arena or whenever you first click that button, it would tell you to pick a side. Whenever you pick either 5 or 6-star, it'll give you some sort of key or currency, ticket, something like that, which will give you access to the one that you selected. Now, why is this beneficial? So it's beneficial because you're targeting who your competition is, right? So if I'm a whale and I want to go for 6-star champions, I can select the 6-star and I'm only going against other 6-star champions. I'm not going to be worried as much about death matches and stuff like that. I'm not going to be worried about being completely washed by the upper accounts because everybody is going to be nearly on my level and we're all going to be competing for these top rewards. Now again, these rewards and stuff like that, these are just estimations. These can all be tweaked. So if you're saying, oh no, this would not work because how can they get 7,000 5-star shards? I'm just going based off of like random numbers that I did. You can tweak all of these. What I want you to keep in mind is just the bare bones of the system. So the other thing that I changed is there's no more basic champion. It's just a featured and sub-featured. Why is that? So in my opinion, the basic champion idea is just outdated. It just is. I can see an argument where if you do for the 6-star specifically, maybe it's a featured and a basic where it's like just an awakening. However, I don't think for a 5-star champion getting a full 20 sig levels, or especially a 4-star champion getting a full 20 levels, I don't think that's damaging to the game at all, just because of the way that things have progressed. It's way easier to get 5-star signature stones and 4-star signature stones now. However, again, the 6-star, I can see an argument for it, so if they want to change that, it's 100% fine. But these, I would say that they're full dupes now, so you can get the ISO. So if you do get them and dupe them and stuff like that, you can rank them up. You get the full awakening, so you don't have to invest even more signature stones and stuff like that. Just, I don't see a problem with it being a full dupe at this point in the game state. But yeah, so you would commit to either 5-star or 6-star, which would target your competition. So for the 6-stars, you'd probably have to lower the amount that 6-stars get, but if you hit the top reward, you'd get the 6-star featured champion. If you missed that, you get the 6-star sub-featured champion. So even though you missed, you're still getting a 6-star, so it shouldn't feel as painful as it does now and as it did previously, because you're still getting that 6-star. But the thing is, it's not going to be the featured champion. So if you miss both of those, you're just going to get a bunch of 6-star shards and a bunch of 5-star shards. The reason that you're getting a bunch is because these are the upper level whale tier accounts. These players who put in the time and the money to be at this level should be compensated for that. They should have better rewards because they put more into the game and are more invested. I don't see a problem with giving them better rewards. That's just me though. Now for the 5-star arena, this one is going to be basically the same layout, but it's going to be catered towards 5 stars. So if you pick this one, you get the 5-star feature champion at the top, sub 5-star feature champion at the tier below that, and then you're still getting a nice chunk of 5-star and 6-star shards if you miss out on that. Now with this one, the big thing that I changed, or that I think really affects it, is that 6-star champions aren't allowed in this arena. So this would fix the deathmatch, which would make it a lot more accessible to smaller accounts and medium accounts, because they don't have to worry about getting into death matches with full 6-star champions. They can run like a single rank 2 5-star with some rank 4 4-stars or rank 1 5-stars and still be perfectly fine. It just makes things a lot easier, a lot more accessible to a broader audience, and that broader audience that is going to be competing in this isn't going to be competing with the whales. So again, it lowers those cutoffs and all of that because the whales are going to be elsewhere doing their own thing. So I really like this idea, but again, it's still not perfect, especially because you're only limited to 1. The other change that I made is increasing the overall units and stuff like that you get per arena, but the combined arena, because everybody still has access to the 4-star arena, it's less than the overall that you would get now. So right now, if you did all 3 arenas, all milestones, you get 540. In this system, you would only get 525, which is 15 units less than the current arena system. But the trade-off is that it's more catered towards you, so theoretically these milestones should be easier to hit, so you're realistically getting more units, and the payoff is a lot higher because you have a higher chance of getting the rewards that you're looking for, because you're not going to be competing with people outside of your skill level or roster size. So I think that's a fair trade-off to make. Now, what are the pros and cons of this system? So again, 6 stars still available. I think that's big for the whales. I think they need that right now. It's a cleaner UI. It's only 2 arenas per account because you have to select one. So if you select this one, you can't access this one, so you only have 2. You have the 4-star and the 6-star, or the 5-star and the 4-star. You still get the champions in the milestones, and now they're going to be full champions, so you're also going to get the ISO, the full signature stone, or the full 20 sig levels, and gold and stuff like that. So overall, it's a lot better. It's a lot more flexible because you can target your competition. Again, I think that's the big part for this option, because it's getting rid of the death matches from that middle tier and giving the middle tier players a place to go, as well as if you want to be competing against stronger people, if you're a big roster, you can still make that flexibility and compete with fellow whales. It's a lot more accessible to smaller and mid-tier players, and the big players are just going to be overall more happy as well. So it's better end game, better early game, and better mid game. So just all across the board, better rewards and a better system, so a better experience, right? So what are the cons of this? Because again, it's not a perfect system. So overall, if you're somebody who always does all the milestones, you're going to be getting less resources, which is kind of a hit, especially if you're a free-to-play player. But I think the trade-off is the shards and the big ranked rewards are going to be a bit higher. Now, I say that, but also a con is less overall top rewards. So the reason that I put this one here is because I reduced the amount of 6 stars that would go out from the current system being 500 of the featured champions between 5 and 6 star. Now it's always guaranteed to be 6 star, so less people should get it. And again, these numbers are all arbitrary. This could be like 1 to 50 and then 51 to 100 if you want to keep lowering it, or 1 to 25, make it hyper competitive like that. But I think overall the top rewards, you would get less, or you should get less, but because it's more likely that you get them because it's less competition from people that shouldn't be there, it's an equal trade-off in my opinion. But again, this system isn't perfect, and maybe you have an alternative. Maybe this is too complicated. Maybe you don't want to have to commit to like a specific arena. Option 3 is, I think, the most practical, and I think it's my favorite one because it's tied to your progression level. Anybody who's not uncollected at the minimum would get the collected arena. If you're uncollected, you would have your own arena, and Throne or Cavalier and above would get their arena. Now the goal for this one is that everything should be relatively equal across the board, because you're only getting access to one arena, and everybody who's in this arena is theoretically at your skill level. If you're not collected, or if you're not uncollected, you're only going to be going against other players who aren't uncollected. So you're not going to have these massive cutoffs where the whales or the bigger accounts are going to be easily scooping them up because they just can't participate. Same thing with the uncollected, and same thing with the Thronebreaker. The other big thing is that these are targeted towards what you should be focusing on to get to the next level. So here for the collected, if you're at this part of the game, if you're not uncollected, you're probably focusing on 4 stars, as you should be. So here the rewards are focused on 4 stars with the 4-star Nexus Crystal. If you really wanted to, you can swap out the 3-star shards with 4-star signature stones or something like that. But personally, I felt that they should. I just really like the new Summoner Trial like layout, and I just wanted to keep it here. I think it works. The uncollected, if you're at this part of the game, you're really focusing on building up your 5-star roster, because the next level is Cavalier, and in Cavalier you can't use 4 stars. So here the goal is to build up your 5-star rosters. So instead of getting 6-star shards for the ranked rewards, you're getting signature stones. Now I put generic signature stones. If you wanted, you could change this to signature stone crystals, but I don't think generic signature stones are problematic. I'll go over some math later on, but I don't think this should be an issue. What this does is, for uncollected, it would make it so you build up your 5-star roster a lot quicker. If you're somebody who can consistently hit this 1 to 5%, you're going to be getting a full 5-star every week, as well as 20 generic signature stones every week, which would be a full dupe. Again, you can change these amounts if you want. I just think this is reasonable, because if you want them to go from uncollected to Cavalier, again, you have to give them the resources to get there. And this being the main outlet for free-to-play players, this being the main grind of the game, where you're going to be spending a lot of your time, you should incentivize players to do that. Now, when you jump up to the 6-star, it's basically the same thing. It's still catered specifically towards 6-star champions. So it's got rid of the 5-star shard like secondary reward from the rank, and then instead giving you 6-star signature stones, again generic. This is massive for free-to-play players, so players like Brian Grant that are very competitive in the end game, can finally fix their problem of not having signature stones. Now, again, if this is an issue, if you don't want generic, you can do signature stone crystals, but this shouldn't be an issue. So let's do some quick math. If you're a throne breaker, right, you're free to play, you're not buying deals, 6-star sig stones come very, 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 very scarcely. They're the rarest resource in the game, probably. This would give you the opportunity where if you grind out every single arena to the top 1 to 5%, every single arena every week, so you're hitting it twice a week, 52 weeks a year, right? You do this a year straight. What you're getting is, so you're getting 5 times 2, which would be 10. You're getting 10 a week times 52, which is 520. That gives you, if you hit this, grind your butt off all year, hit this top one all year without skipping a beat, you're walking away with 2 max sig characters and like 120 levels on another character. I don't think that is asking for too much for somebody who is a top tier end game player, as well as somebody who is hitting the top tier rewards in arena and grinding that out year round. I don't think that is too much to ask for, but again, if that is too much to ask for, just change this to signature stone crystals, and that spreads it out across 6 different classes. So if you divide this by 6, on average the person would get 96 levels or 85 sig levels per class, which means in an entire year they'll have 6 characters up, not even 90 signature levels, which is nothing. This is easily, in my opinion, the way that they should fix the arena. Tie it to your progression, which again seems to be what they want to do here anyways. If you're going to set a minimum bar, set the other bars as well. Just separate all of the different progression levels and make it catered towards what that progression level needs. Thronebreakers and Cavaliers need 6-star resources, so give them resources through arena. Uncollected needs 5-star resources and 5-star champions, so cater that to them, and anybody else, cater them towards 4-star so that they can become uncollected. Now the issue here would be that there's less variety, right? Like if you're a Thronebreaker character or player, you can't go for the 5-star feature champion. You can only compete for that 6-star feature champion, which is kind of stressful. You either have to go big or go home. I think that's the biggest downside to doing it this way, but I think there's enough pros here that outweigh that downside. So there is that less variety, as well as your old star levels just lose value. So once you hit the uncollected, you can't use 3 stars in the arena anymore. So what do you do with them really? Once you get to the Thronebreaker, you realistically can't use 4 stars in the arena that much because the milestones are much higher, as well as they don't give that many points and they're a lot more risky for death matches. So 4 stars become a bit more relevant too. I don't have answers for either of those issues, and they are issues. I think it could make things a little bit stale and difficult just having a single arena for like the entire 3 days, but again, I think the pros outweigh the cons. You're also getting less units overall because you can only access 1 arena, which I bumped up to 525 units per arena, which is less than the 540 that we're currently getting. But realistically, you're only doing that 1 arena, so most people are going to be walking away with more units. So even though it's technically less units, the people that wouldn't be hitting all of the milestones before are now going to be getting that unit worth from a single arena. So they're going to be walking away with more units. So what does this look like on the pros? Again, 6-star is still available for the people that need it. You're still getting the champions through the milestones. You're still getting a very streamlined experience for arenas, because now you're only getting 1 arena down from 5, as well as better rewards across the board. All the early game players are getting a lot better rewards, medium game players are getting a lot better rewards, and 6-star Cavalier players are getting a lot better rewards. The reason that they're getting rewards is because everything is tailored to their needs at that progression level. 6-star or Thronebreaker and Cavalier are getting stuff that they need. Uncollected are getting stuff that they need, and the collected, the low tier players are getting stuff that they need. So this is by far my favorite change. I think this is easily the way that they should go. However, these numbers can all be tweaked, but I do think this would be most beneficial. So when I go to the forums, this is what I'm going to submit. This is going to be my feedback. But again, I want you guys to do the same. Come up with your own ideas, come up with your own feedback, go to the forums and leave it for them. If we want change, we have to be the change. This was a very long video. My throat hurts, so I'm going to leave it here. I appreciate all the thumbs up, all the thumbs down, all of the comments, and all of the subscribes. It's going to be it for this video, but I love you, be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.